often do you fight for other things or other people rather than yourself? It's super important to fight for yourself, not just to fight for your relationship, your job, your income, whatever. Because if you don't fight for yourself, you lose yourself. Every time you put something before your needs, your values, your beliefs, the things that make you happy, you lose a little bit of yourself. Now, that part of yourself is not lost forever, never to be found again, but it's a bit like going through the forest and having to look for the crumbs that you left behind as a trail back to who you were. You end up feeling over time, when you don't fight for yourself, over time you end up feeling like there's a hole inside. You look in the mirror and you don't know where you've gone. Or, like what happened to me, friends look at you, listen to you, and then say, hey, where did you go? Where did Nina go? That's what actually happened to me. And it was a huge wake-up call because I realized that indeed I had disappeared. I wasn't who I used to be. Now, we all change over time, but we don't want to lose the essence of who we are. We don't want to lose our beliefs and our values, right? Now, some of these change over time too, but the ones that are really inherent to who we are, we don't want to lose those. And that's what happens when you keep fighting for everything else but yourself. And this became very clear to me recently when a friend of mine asked me, are you willing to keep fighting for this relationship? And I said, you know what? I've been fighting for this specific relationship for years and years and years. And now I need to fight for me. I need to fight for myself because I've lost myself. I need to stand up for me. And you know, as time goes on, like think back to when you were young, right? There might have been a time when somebody didn't fight for you and you felt like you couldn't fight for yourself, and as a result, nobody else fought for you, and you shrank, right? You stopped playing as big and believing in yourself. And we have to sometimes reparent ourselves and stand up for ourselves. And that's what it felt like to me. Like I had to start parenting me. I had to stand up for me. And maybe for you it's the same, that it's time for you to fight for yourself. Okay, so I'm preaching to the choir here because this was something that became super clear to me just recently. So how can you do that? How can you start fighting for yourself, standing up for yourself? I've got a couple ways, and the first is to ask for what you want and need. You have the right to these things. You're worthy and deserving of them. So ask for what you want and need. You need to vocalize it. If you don't ever ask for it, how can you get it? You can't just expect people to read your mind. Ask for what you want and need, and stand firm on it. If these are things that are super important to you, you have to stand firm on them. And I know that I didn't stand firm. I really didn't. And in some cases, I took what I wanted and needed and put it way on the back burner because it didn't seem to be helping in the situation. And so I thought, well, I need to put what I want and need on the back burner in order to make this relationship work, right? Or a relationship with a boss or a job, whatever it is, right? And so you have to stop doing that. And you have to ask for what you want and need. You have to fight for that. Also, number 2 is to not settle for less. If these things are important to you, then don't settle. We are told to give up these wants and needs in order, because we can't afford them, or it imposes on somebody else, or somebody else doesn't like it, or whatever. But when you settle for less, you're not fighting for yourself, and you're losing a little bit of yourself, right? You're settling for something that you don't think you should have to settle for, and it creates anger and resentment, and you kind of lose a little bit of yourself because you're telling the universe that it's not important enough and that you can settle. And we don't want to settle. We don't want to settle for anything. That's, yeah, settling is a lot like tolerating, which is number 3, and you need to stop tolerating things. So we think we're accepting something about our job or a relationship, right, or our situation. We think we're accepting it, but if underneath you're angry or resentful or hurt or whatever emotion, negative emotion you have around that, then you're not actually accepting, you're just tolerating. And you don't want to just tolerate, because you're going to be miserable and you're going to lose parts of yourself. And believe me, I know this, I've had to look at this. So you don't want to be settling for less, and you don't want to be tolerating, okay? Because all of this will lead to you losing pieces of yourself. Fight for these things. Okay, so number 4 is to not play small in order to get along. You can keep other people's needs and desires in mind through all of this, right? So we talked about, asking for what you want and need. You can still keep other people's desires and needs in mind. In terms of settling for less, the same. Same with tolerating. You can be keeping other people's needs and desires while you still keep going for yours. If you play small to get along, then you're doing those things. You're tolerating, and you're settling for less, and you're not asking for what you want and need. Compromise is okay if you're really okay with it, okay? But if you end up via the compromise feeling like you gave up a piece of yourself, you put a value or belief on the back burner, then that's not okay. That's not okay, because you lose a piece of yourself, right? It's not okay to lose a piece of yourself. You deserve and are worthy of showing up as your full self, not putting any part of you, behind some curtain or in the closet. And that comes down to number 5, which is to love yourself enough to say yes and no if necessary. I was reading a book recently called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It, and it's by Kamal Ravikant. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Love yourself like your life depends on it. And he has you ask a question. If I loved myself truly and deeply, would I let myself experience this? If I loved myself truly and deeply, would I let myself experience this? If your answer is no, I wouldn't, then that's a huge wake-up call, right? You may have to do something that feels difficult. But you have to start loving yourself enough to say yes to things and no to things that aren't what you would want. I think that's a great question. If I loved myself truly and deeply, would I say yes to this, or would I say no to that, or would I experience this? It's amazing. So you have to love yourself enough to stand up for yourself, to fight for yourself, to not lose yourself. Now, if you've lost yourself, you can find yourself again. In fact, he or she is there, just waiting for you to reach out and take him by the hand, or her by the hand. The real you, the authentic you, the essence of you has not disappeared. It has not gone forever. It is so close by. Just reach out your hand and draw him or her back out. And when you do that, the hole inside you will disappear. And you'll be restored to your former glory. Actually, probably better than before, because now you know more than you knew before, right? You know more, you know better. And so you can begin to incorporate those pieces of you that you dropped along the path when you weren't fighting for yourself, when you were trying to get along, where you weren't loving yourself, you were playing small, you were tolerating and settling for less and not asking for what you wanted. You can gather all that back together into you, the authentic you, the essence of you, and you can show up powerfully. And you will feel whole again, and you will know that you will know that you will never again not fight for yourself. Because in the process, not only do you just lose yourself, you lose your confidence, lose your sense of worth, You lose your courage. You lose all kinds of things. And that's not who you really are, because anyone who doesn't have courage or doesn't have self-confidence or self-worth, these are things that somewhere along the line we lost because we weren't able to stand up for ourselves, or we believed what people told us or whatever. So it's time to fight for yourself. Stand up for yourself, fight for yourself, and regain all those parts of yourself. Find them again and be wholly you. Wholly you. Powerfully you. So if you feel like you've been lost, if you feel like there's a hole, time to fix that. Stand up for yourself, fight for yourself. You are worth it. You deserve it. And the inner child in you is asking for you to do it for yourself. Do it for him or her. Reach out your hand, draw them in, and say, I've got you. I've got you. I will fight for you. It will make all the difference in the world. And believe me, I am working on this too. I'm preaching to the choir here. These are things I am working on. I always bring you things that I'm working on. I always have to remember what I was taught long ago, that we teach what we need to learn most. And so usually what's happening for me in my life and in my world is what I'm bringing you. And yeah, I might have some tips and tools, but I'm using them in a lot of cases, or I've learned them from elsewhere and I'm implementing them. But I'm here with you. Know that I'm here with you. And what I want for you is for you to stand in your power and to show your authentic self and to feel as if you can create whatever it is you want, that life, that way of being, your happiness, all of it. I want to get you from where you are now to where you want to go. Okay? And get you out of the way. And when you are doing these things like tolerating and not asking for what you want, these are ways that where you're in your own way. So let's stop that together. Let's stop that. I'm Nina Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation coach. I am a certified high performance coach, an inspired results coach, a author coach. And as I said, I love to get people from where they are to where they want to go with nothing getting in the way, including themselves. I like to help people combine their passion and their purpose so they get inspired and take inspired action to get inspired results. So if that's of interest to you, if you like personal growth, if you like spiritual growth, and you're a writer, like a mind, body, spirit, transformational type writer, check out my Inspired Creator Community. The link's above. Check out the Inspired Creator Community. If you just want personal and spiritual growth or just high performance group coaching, it's like a buffet. You can choose what you want. But if you're also into spiritual growth or you're into writing nonfiction books, then this is a super community for you to be in. I can coach you on a variety of things. Like I said, personal, spiritual growth, authorship, all of those things. So check out the Inspired Creator Community. And if you're wanting to work with me one-on-one, then go ahead and click this link. I'll put another link up above for a free 30-minute strategy session with me. And we'll chat, see if we're a good fit, see if I can, if what I offer is what you want and need. It would be my honor to meet you and to talk to you. And it'd be my honor and pleasure to also have you in my Inspired Creator Community. So until I talk to you next time, stand up for yourself. Fight for yourself. Okay? Do it. I'm going to be doing it too. And go out there and achieve more inspired results.